as a whole, in the state of the art of where we're at with AI, we're getting smarter with how to adopt it. Maybe not actually in practice. Like for my job, I work with a whole bunch of companies, Fortune 500s across a number of industries, and my job is to work in figuring out where agents could be used, where they shouldn't be, where perhaps basic automation is more available, or just the investment doesn't make any sense. And I rely on things like this: future of work with AI agents, auditing automation and augmentation potential across the US workforce. There's a psychological aspect to the adoption of AI. If it's undesirable in their day to day, then perhaps pushing people to use something that they don't want to use isn't the best course of action, because I always preach, first of all, if you don't have your workflow process documented with the KPIs that you're trying to reduce, increase, or optimize, that's as simple as it gets for me when I'm looking to see where automation or an agent workflow, not agentic yet, but an agent workflow could help. I need to reduce, increase, or optimize something, reduce bottlenecks, increase outputs, optimize workflow productivity in that kind of sense. And alternatively, besides that academic research, I like this Substack AI report. We asked 2,000 Substack publishers how they're using and thinking about AI. And the cool thing, I think, or the interesting thing about looking at something like this is these are individual contributors. These are people at home that are utilizing AI or not, and figuring out, why aren't they using it? There's no corporation forcing a tool on them saying, hey, you must adopt this. And even now, 45% said they're using AI, 52.6% said they're not, 2% were unsure. I guess perhaps they're probably using a tool and not knowing if there's AI on the back end. And with it, older publishers are more inclined to use AI for research and writing assistance, while other users tend to focus on translation and content ideation. There's certain concerns. While many see AI as a valuable tool, there are significant worries about the impact of creativity, ethical consideration, and authenticity of human created content. That's 100%. Like when we look at something like generative AI, it's trained on a past amount of data to create future outputs. There's going to be no novel thing that's going to be outputted. It's a great assistant for things like research and development and content creation, but perhaps not to get you that next generation of, next Oscar winning film or whatever. So we go back to this paper, future of work with AI agents. So it's not so much just saying, hey, we have these certain processes that could be augmented. What's kind of the overall desire? There's certain aspects of job security, which, with all due respect, you're gonna have to deal with it like in the future. I mean, scribes had to worry about the printing press, and it's just the next evolution of work output, But enjoyment is something that's interesting. User interface, user experience within a tool, with the adoption of an AI, anything is a big deal. Take, for example, kind of the lack of adoption of like Copilot. If you're not enjoying the experience, or it's not getting back the information that you're needing it to, then that's going to inhibit the adoption of it, right? Augmentation, physical action, domain expertise, uncertainty, interpersonal communication. I'm going to jump down here. Let's see if there's anything right here to this really interesting chart on page 10, where it has the different opportunity zones. And this is a good reference paper, and I'll put links in the description to kind of, I guess, document, like if you're looking at your overall organization on how we're going to adopt AI, perhaps this is a great tool to be like, hey, as far as complexity matrix, but also what kind of user experience are we going to have? So let's look at the green light zone when you're looking at what tasks could be automated and the help with AI. These are both high automation desire and high capability, prime candidates for AI agent deployment with potential for broad productivity and societal gains. This right here is kind of not necessarily the low-hanging fruit, because it could be very complex tasks that you're trying to develop or adopt an additional tool for, but these are the ones that you're going to have the least resistance, and people are going to have overall enjoyment, less stress. That's another thing. Any tool that you adopt has to have less stress, otherwise people are going to resist it. The red light zone. This is where definitely where I see a lot of companies, a lot of individuals even, are probably spinning their wheels on to just see where AI can go. And to a point. You're not going to really know that unless you test and you try it. But because of really cool academic research like this could at least try to remove them from the pipeline for the near term. So these are tasks with high capability but low desire. Deployment here warrants caution as it may face worker resistance or pose broader negative societal implications. Then you got your R&D opportunity zone. This is secondarily to the green light zone that, yes, automation hasn't worked. AI is not quite there yet, but we need to keep it on the back burner and in our purview because eventually it's going to be coming. You're going to wake up tomorrow and there's going to be some new tool, right? Tasks with high desire but currently low capability. These represent promising directions for AI research and development. And then lastly, this is also where people are investing way too much money. Tasks with both low desire and low capability. These are less urgent for AI agent development. So again, as you're thinking, and I'll put the links in the description of both these reports, they're very good. They're still very relevant, is that you got to document your process. You got to understand which KPIs, key performance indicators, that you're trying to reduce, increase, or otherwise optimize within that process. And then see if that specific workflow fits within any of these 4 categories. And that's going to really help you with like use case prioritization. Now, there's going to be other things like investment, complexity, timeline to adoption, and whatnot, of course. But this is a very, very good filtering mechanism for you to just really ramp up the adoption of AI and see those productivity gains with worker satisfaction and enjoyment.